All right. So thank you everyone for joining. This is another event from Ministry of Testing Pune Meetups, and as a chapter lead, I welcome you all to this event called Typescript for Testers. And I'm very pleased to introduce Anujsingla, who is a senior software engineer at Red Hat, working mostly on the developing front end for Red Hat web platforms. So welcome Anuj, and over to you.
Okay, thank you, Deepak. So let's start the TypeScript. So as Deepak has introduced me, so I'm Anuj Singla. Okay, and apart from my work, I'm also making the video on YouTube. So related to web development, TypeScript, JavaScript, Angular, React, and okay, so let's start. So, what is the today agenda is what is TypeScript and why it is important. So, project setup and configuration, and then examples. We will see different features of TypeScript like Enum, generic functions, interfaces, which we are using in our project also, and most important. And then in the end, you will able to decide either you will go with TypeScript or JavaScript. So I always prefer you to go with JavaScript, sorry, TypeScript. And yeah, so let's start. So what is TypeScript and why it is important? So TypeScript is an open source pure object oriented language. So it is strongly typed superset of JavaScript, so which compiles to plain JavaScript. It contains all the elements of JavaScript, and it is a language designed for large scale JavaScript application which can be executed on any browser, host, or operating system. Now, maybe this is your question. Maybe there is one question in your mind: why TypeScript? Okay. So when JavaScript was developed, then JavaScript developer team introduced JavaScript as a client-side programming language. As you know, when we are starting our career, then we know okay JavaScript is used for writing validation or some front-end client-side programming. Then, but when people were using JavaScript, then developer get to know that JavaScript can be used as a server-side programming language, and Node has introduced. So with the help of Node, we can use on the server side. But when JavaScript was growing, then the code of JavaScript become complex and heavy. So because of this, JavaScript was not able to fulfill the requirement of object-oriented programming also. Like we right now, with the help of TES6, we can use basic classes, but couple of features related to object-oriented we are not able to achieve with JavaScript. So this prevents JavaScript from succeeding at the enterprise level, or we can go to then TypeScript was developed by the development team and the Microsoft to bridge this gap. So the TypeScript is introduced. So it's a pure object-oriented programming language. Yeah. So it is not executed directly in the browser. Means browser can't understand the TypeScript. So TypeScript team has provided us one compiler. With the help of that compiler, we will translate from TypeScript to JavaScript with the help of compiler. So there are some configuration I will also explain you, which is very important. If you go with the like older version or the newer version of means, like if you see the e-commerce website, we will go with the older version also of browser, so that the website should be run in older as the new version. But like for us, we always support the latest version. So you have to decide, and then on the configuration you need to decide means either it will go with the new or the older. And again, it's also very helpful to maintain code with static typing classes and interface. As per the study, and as I know, mostly you can save 20 to 25% of bugs with the help of TypeScript. So like you can find the bugs at when you are writing the code. So it will not introduce at the runtime. And yeah, it is right. Nowadays it is more famous in the full stack development. Like we can write the TypeScript in the front end as well as the back end, like Node.js. And front end is React, Angular. Okay, so this is just one image I copied from the Google. Okay, so I just want to explain you what exactly is TypeScript and what's the meaning of superset. Okay, so like we have JavaScript which has constructor, dynamic types, prototype, and again ES6 feature has introduced which has some capability like you can use the arrow function, spread operator and all things. On top of that, TypeScript has introduced. So TypeScript, apart from the JavaScript feature, TypeScript has their own other features. So like interface, strong type, generic. So all these things we will take with the help of example, and then we need to always compile the TypeScript code into the JavaScript code, and then means with the help of compiler, because JavaScript TypeScript can't browser can't understand the TypeScript. Okay. So apart from this, let's means I will explain you all the things with the help of example. This is the theoretical part which I cover you. Okay. So firstly, I have just set up basic project so that it will help you to understand. Okay. So I have created one package.json file. Here I have just written three scripts. One is test, if there is no useful. Build, we will use the tx. So TypeScript, I told you they have provided one compiler is TSC. With the help of this, we have to install the TypeScript, and I think currently version is 4.4.2, and then we will get TSC command. With the help of this TSC command, we will compile our code from the TypeScript to JavaScript, and this one is start like I have just used to light server, means to uh, to run the server and show you how the changes are in the. And now move on to the TS configuration. So this is very important to understand, because maybe when you start writing TypeScript, then you have to use it. So like they have a multiple, means around 30 to 35 configuration, but I have just covered around 6 to 7, just because these are very important to understand. And yeah. So first one is the target. Okay. So target is, it is related to the output of the code. So like I told you in the starting, means you have to decide which version you need to run the your code in the browser. So this is right now ES6 is the latest one, but if you check, there are a lot of options here, but mostly we are go with the ES6 because we have to run our code in the latest browser. But ES5 is the older version, and means that's mean when we are compiling our code, it will translate with the help of old syntax of JavaScript. Like the where in JavaScript, but latest now let and const has come. So, so let's see how it will compile. Suppose I will write one. So I have written down some examples because we have only 1 hour, so that's why I have written all the things. So like I have written one function. Okay, so add function, it's just accepting true value, and it submit and print the value on the console, and just I am passing one value, and there is value of pi, and I have used constant here. Just I would like to show you the import, is how we will import the things. Okay, so like if I go with the ex5, okay, so when we compile this, how the ts like the TypeScript will compile in the JavaScript. Let's see, index. So it will create from index.ts to index.js. Uh, so if you see here, means I have used the ES5 version. Now if you see here, means here in the TypeScript we are using the constant, right? But in the JS, when we compile our code, then it will use the where keyword. So means that's mean the older version can't understand the const and let. So that's why they have converted to where. But like if means your code will go in the latest version, then you should use always the latest target date, latest target version. So if you see here, if I use the ES6, now let's see, is in the ES6 version, then if you see here, we use the const, then this code will not run in the older version. It will go always the latest version or the version which understands const method. These are the syntax part, means what's the value of target and all things. So you have to decide. In our project, mostly we go with the ES6. And next one is the module. So there are a couple of modules, and it tells the TypeScript compiler which module syntax to use when the files are compiled to JavaScript. So it's again also the compile time. when the compiling. So how, like if you see here, there are a couple of modules like common.js, UMD, AMD system, ESNext. Right now, ESNext is going on. Means when you are importing and exporting, so this syntax is used, but same with the common.js. So common.js means how they are importing. So it's all the syntax part, means how the older version understand import and export and everything. So it's related to means uh, now move on to the next properties. Out directory means when you compile your code, on which directory it will go. Like I have used a disk. So if you say when I compile it, it creates a disk folder and it will go into the disk folder. And the lib is related to the types, like DOM has their types, ES5 and all things, means uh, set map has introduced. So what types means when we use the latest version, so our TypeScript should also understand. So that's why we are using, means we have to mention here. Source map is used for the debugging purpose. So when we compile our code in the browser or debug our code in the browser, then we don't need to understand the JavaScript. It will create one map file. You see here, they have created with JS, it will create one map file. So this is used for the debugging purpose. And strict mode is like if you strictly follow the TypeScript rule or not. If you set is false, then it will not 100% follow all the rules of TypeScript. And next one is the exclude. So exclude means which folder you don't want to compile from TypeScript to JavaScript, and include means which folder you want to compile. So these are the property which I feel you should know. And then now moving on to the uh, features part. Okay, so I think you know about the unwanted error when we are using the plain JavaScript. Okay, so suppose what types of error we are facing when we are writing our code in the JavaScript. So suppose I have written some method which has one param, two param one, param two, and it just adding two value and just put on the console. Okay. So when I am passing integer value, like number value 10, it will give me the 20 output. But suppose if I pass a wrong value, like string here, then it will pass me the, like it will give me the wrong output, like 10 of 10, 10, 10, something like this. So this is the means you will find out these types of error on the runtime. And means we are not able to, it's not easy to maintain, and you don't know when your program will run. Then you know, okay, I passed these types of wrong value. So these types of problem, these are called the unwanted error, which we don't know, but we have to face these types of issue. And second one is mostly we face these types of issue here. Suppose there is, it also accept one object, and I just pass one object here, like image, and one properties, roll number 7. Okay, so if I print the same value in obj dot. So we don't need means in that type in the JavaScript we are not getting any intelligence here. So suppose if I add the, if I use a wrong property name. If you see here, we have used a small n. Here we are used the capital N. So these types of error we mostly do while writing the JavaScript code, because we are human. So these types of human errors. So means when you write a like 1,000 line of code, then these types of error happen. So with the help of TypeScript, we will remove these types of error. I will explain you later. Okay. In the next. Okay. So these are the unwanted error which I have explained you. Now move into the interface feature. So interface is very important feature of TypeScript. It helps you to define the types of the object. Suppose there is one object, so it helps you to define the types. And the plain interface, first we see with the plain interface. So how we will create the interface and then name, like always write I with the interface because it's standard way, and the first name should be capital, like I student. Okay, and you have to define, okay, what types of value it should have, like first name, last name. Okay, and now I have just written one method here, and which has object type, params is object, and what's the type of this, like we have to define the type. So like I defining like I student type, and I just created one object and just passing the value here. Okay. So now you will see how it is helpful. So suppose there is one object and it should be I student type. Suppose if I miss this property, then we get the warning message. No, this is wrong. You should provide the last name. So we have to provide the last name. Otherwise, it will give you the error. And again, in the last example, I explain you, you don't need to remember the property. It will give you the auto suggestion, like I think you get in the when you are writing code in the Java. Okay, so you will get these types of suggestion. It's called the auto suggestion intelligence. You will get. Okay. So you can use first name or last name. So you don't need to remember the property or copy paste from one place to another place. So this is a benefit you get. And suppose if you provide wrong value, like integer value, then you will get the error message from the Typescript. No, you are doing wrong. It should be number, and you will get a good error warning. Means what's the value you are doing wrong and everything. So it should be always string. And next one is, suppose next thing is optional property. Suppose you don't need the last name, you just need the first name. So you can make the last name as a optional. So how we can make the optional is just question mark, and then this property will be made optional, and then optional will make, then either it's up to you, either you will you want to provide this property or not, so you will not get any types of error. And suppose now this property, like this param accept I student, and if you provide some number here, then you will get the error message, or if you provide some another value, then you will get the error, because it always accept the ob, means I student type. So this is a benefit we get when using the TypeScript. Now moving on to the next part is the read-only property. So when you are writing code, like you have to make some property as a read-only. So what's the meaning of read-only is you can assign value at the time of creating an object, but not after that. Like you have create one properties code, so you feel that code value will not be changed in later. Okay, so you can make as a read-only property. So um, so when we are creating the object, then you can assign the value to 11. And suppose in future, if I go with change the value, then I will get the error. No, this is wrong. You cannot change the read-only property. You can only change like name. You cannot change the property of code, because you have made the read-only property. So again, this is the one more feature of the TypeScript. Now moving on to the next is the extending type. Okay. So extending type is very important. Okay, we are using a lot in our code. So suppose there is one common thing which mostly in our most of the objects we use, like when we are making the React, when we are making React interface, means React components, and we have to pass the props type. So all the props has ID and class name. So what we did is we just make one common thing. Like here, I just make the name and ID. Okay, and the name and ID, like how I can extend. Suppose I created one more interface, and I can extend from the common like interface. So so I employee detail has admin, department plus name and ID. So it has 4 interface. So the same thing you don't need to write again and again. Okay, and suppose you have to write in future. Suppose if you something has come and you need to make one more property, like class name, which will reflect in all the interface which is extended by them. So you can make one more property and it will use in the I employee or I account details. So this is the benefit of extend. And means we use like mostly we are using in the component level this thing, or also when we are getting data from the backend, there's some property which are most of the common in multiple objects, so we make as a common interface and then extend in the another object, another interface. Now moving on to the enum part. So again, this is means it is this feature is added by the TypeScript, and it is used to define name constant. We will see how what's the meaning of name constant origins, and we can create string and numeric enum. Okay. So very easy to understand and maintainable. So suppose you got means you have to create one tabs on the UI like in the web. Okay, so web application you have to create tabs. So how mostly people do, like they have they need to create constant like form, about, contact. Okay, so and they have to use multiple pieces, but like with the help of enum, so with the help of enum we can make like one enum and you can add multiple values in that, and it's very easy to understand. Like suppose newcomer has come and he know, okay, this is enum, and he understand, okay, this has multiple constant, and like it's very easy to access, means you can access, and means tab dot, and it's you the auto intelligence what are the values and all things. And it's also like comparable is also very easy. Like you have to compare, okay, what is the current selected tab, is tab equal to tab dot, just you will get home or not. And suppose in future, okay, you have to change from home to house. Okay, then you have to make the changes at one place, not the multiple places. So it will reflect in all the application, full application where you are using this property. So this is the benefit you get from this. And again, so you can also, like for the constant you cannot traverse this, like because these are the independent constant, but there is one enum and you can also traverse it. Traverse means you can get one value from this, and so like you can get object dot keys dot map, and you can just traverse it. So how we are doing in our project is, like we create multiple, like we create enum and we added tabs name like tab 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we uh, traverse that tab value, enum value, and then show the makes the multiple tabs on the UI. So this is the real time example which we use in our project. And second one is the numeric one. So by default, like here, we are provided the value like form, about, constant value. Okay, but if you don't provide it, then by default it start with the 0. But if you provide suppose 0, then the value is 0, 1, 2. Then by default it's value 2. But again, if you provide the first value is 2, then the next value will be 3 and 4. So it goes something like this. If you provide it, that's fine. But if you don't provide it, then the TypeScript will understand it, and then it provides by default. Okay. So now we will see how these things will look in the JavaScript. How means when we are compiling our code, so how it looks the tabs into the JavaScript, how it will compile. So let's compile this code. Yarn build. Uh, Yeah. If you see here, okay, so how they are internally, how, because TypeScript JavaScript can't understand enough. So how internally JavaScript compiler will do it, create as a function, and just assign the value something like this. Because JavaScript can't understand the enum. But I think in the latest version of JavaScript, maybe like right now I'm using Let's see what will happen in the exnet. Either they will understand or not. Yeah. So Enum is not understanding the latest version. You can check it something like this. It's very like it's also more informative. You would like to go into the deep, then you should check okay what are the feature and how you can quickly check it. Okay, I told you okay by default I assign the values to. Suppose I don't provide the value. I told you it will assign by default 0, 1, 2. Let's check. One will in the JS. If you see here by default is values 0, 1, 2. So these things you will get with the help of enum and all things. And when you are writing your interface, okay, so you can define like interface I role. So you have defined role and you can type of role. So it will include only these three type. Otherwise, it will give you the error. Okay, and you can just so when you assign the value, const role and type of I role. So the role value should be role of admin, and the name is any string. But if you suppose if you provide any value like I provide is string, then you will get the error. It will only accept this three. So these are the benefit we get with the help of enum and all. So we are also using enum like when you know the model. Okay, when we are opening the model, so the model can be open in edit mode or in the create mode. So this time we define the okay what types of model we have. Either means we create the enum of edit and create, and on the basis of model we are showing the text. Either it's a create model or a update model. These are the real time example we are using in our project. Okay. So now moving on to the next part is the classes. Okay. So like you are the automation means you write a lot of automation and you use the JavaScript. Okay, oops concept. So with the help of TypeScript, you can also write the classes here. A classes is also the feature in JavaScript also, but there are a couple of things in classes which is not supported in the JavaScript. So we can write same like a Java code in the with the help of TypeScript. So you don't feel like when you are come because you mostly you write the code in the Java and automation. So you make the classes and all things. So in JavaScript you don't find any public private things. Okay. But in the TypeScript you will find all the things whatever in the Java. So but in JavaScript there are some restrictions you will not find. Again, I think you know the theoretical part. You can extend it, and you can provide the public, private identifier. So I'll just give you one example here. Okay. So suppose I created one department class. Okay, it has name and department code and the constructor. Okay, and it has described just to print the value and change code. I have written one more method. Is change the again you can means you can create the same like means Java. You can create the object and provide the value here, and it will call this constructor and assign the value. And the account means you can just call the method, and if you would like to update the name here, you can also do it here first, and you can also change the department code, right? Like this. Okay, but means if you don't want to expose the department code, so in Java you write a private, right? And you can define the public. So these are the identifier you can use in the TypeScript, but this identifier is not available in the JavaScript. So this is the just difference between this, and again now you will get the error. So department code is private, you cannot access outside of the class. So you should always use in the inside of the class. So these are the benefit you will get from the from the TypeScript. And if you build this code, can you quickly check how it looks like? Yeah. If you see here, there is no property here. Like in the TypeScript, we have written public, private, and name and department and constructor. So they have only constructor. There is no like you cannot define the property outside of this, or public private identifier is not available. So you can use this. Means if you would like to write the class in the Java, so you have to sorry JavaScript, you have to write something like this. But in TypeScript, you can write something like this. Same like Java. So these are the benefits you would get with the help of TypeScript. So that's why I always recommend you should go with the TypeScript. So now this is the extend property. So this is the extend property, I think you know in Java. So you can extend from this is inheritance, again public private means identifier you can define here, and super this is also available in the JavaScript also. Okay, and the same feature is here. So there are a couple of things which is not available in the Java. So that's why JavaScript is superset of JavaScript. This is the reason. Okay. So now moving on to the TypeScript generic. TypeScript generic is like a very important concept. Okay. So, so till now, do you have any question? Because TypeScript generic is very important. So I think we will take the question in the end. Right, Deepak?
I'm okay either way. If someone has any questions, you can either put them in the chat or ask them.
Okay. Till then, I will cover the generic, and then we will go one to two project also. Go boilerplate code, which I will explain you how. And there is one more blog also, which means everybody should read that blog, and you will then decide you should go with the TypeScript. Okay, so let's start with the generic part, and then we will see question and answer. Okay, so generic. So what's the meaning of generic? So means it's help to flexible and reusable code. So generic help to create reusable component that work with a number of types instead of a single type. So let's take one example. So I explain you means we should write always use the TypeScript and use the types defined definition. So there is suppose one method identity and it accept one argument and its type of number. Okay. So suppose if you have to okay, I told you, okay, I want one more method which accept the string or another types also. What you have to do is either write one more method here, like identity one, and it accepts string, right? So means we are duplicating the same thing. Either what the second option you can make it as any. So it's not a good practice in TypeScript. So TypeScript for these things, TypeScript has introduced the generic type. So generic type means when you are calling this method, when you are using that component or method, so you define the type, what types of data it should have. So like how we can do this, just define the type. Like it's a variable, you can provide any name is like I define with a T, and it's T. Okay, so right now there is no type here. So when we are calling this method, so you have to define. It will go with number or string. So it means you have to define what types of data it will accept. This is the benefit of this is the generic means we are reusing the component, we are using the methods of with the help of generics. Same code but with different types. So now moving on to the second example is suppose there is one method is merge object, and it accepts two value argument one argument two, and I'm just using one method is object dot assign argument and argument two, just passing that value, and when I am just calling this method I'm just passing two objects here. Okay, so means and it will return me the combination of two objects. Okay, combine two objects and give me the. So when I go like when I click on the dot object or dot, then it should give me the name and class. But I'm not getting anything because I'm not getting any intelligence here. Means I maybe I used the wrong property because I didn't define the type. So again you can define the type here. Here P and P. So first argument is for P, second argument is P, and what it will return P and P. So now you will get the means. Okay, so it will give us the it will return me the value and the type of. So whatever the type you are providing here, it will return me like here. Click on the dot. So you will now get the intelligence. So it's a class and name. Means this is again second example of generic. Now how we will use the generic in the promise. So suppose I have just written one promise here. Okay, it will return. I think you know the promise concept. So promise means when we get a value after like after some time, after 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Okay, so how we can create the promise is no, and this is a way to create new promise, and it will accept one function called back. Okay, and it has resolve and reject. So after some time, I just use a mock part here, and it will return after 1 second, and it will give me the score. In the starting, I just provide some done some string value. Okay. So now, if you don't provide any type here, okay, and here I'm just using okay, I need to explain you the async and await here. So async await is mostly used to call the means with the means we are using this with the with the promises here. So what it will do is await is what it will do is it will not means it will wait here till this get API data means this promise will not resolve. So what it will do like firstly it will come here, firstly it will run the 212 and it will wait here till this till resolve this promise. Means it will wait until this promise will not resolve. Suppose it will take 1 second. So our code will stop here for 1 second and it will go into the after that it will go into the next line. So but means another way we can call it with the help of dot then dot else. Dot then like this is the old way to use it. So here it will not means here it will not wait and it will go into the next line and until when the promise will resolve it will go into the if. But with the help of means if you see here means we can't understand this thing and when it will go 3 to 4 chaining dot then we are not able to. So means uh, here it's like if you call to the same thing twice, okay, we have two promise, you can just use something like this. Means it's very easy to understand and all things, and we are using a lot of async. So it wait until this response will resolve, and after that it will go into the 213 line and then 214. Okay, so now moving on to our generic type here. If you see here, we are just resolving that value, and the response as unknown, like any property, because we don't define what types of response we will get from the response. Okay, we didn't define it here. By default, it's unknown. Unknown is any. Okay, so but if you define it here, and the type is string. So now you have defined what types of value we will get from this here, and if you see here, what's the type of response is string, and suppose if you provide it here number, so you will get there no, it should always the string, but you can also provide it there is number. When if you change it to number, then you will also get here the response is number. And like when we are making the backend call, okay, and then we define mostly the object type, so like we create interface and we define it here, and which types of data we get from the backend. And then suppose I create one dummy data here and roll number. So now here I will get, okay, I use the detailed data and I can use dot, and then okay, I know what's the response I will get from the backend, like name or roll number. So if you see here, I don't need to remember the property. Okay, when our application grow, then we are not able to understand, okay, what types of data we get, or we don't need to remember the properties and all things. Like when you are testing testing our code, web UI, then you find, okay, this means this is not showing the correct property value and all things. So means with the help of this TypeScript, we resolve these types of bugs from the UI or from the backend. This is the benefits we get from the generic type. Means suppose if the generic type is not there, then means we are not able to define what types of data we will get. So they have just create generic type here. So means when you create it, then means the client should provide, okay, means we are using, then we should provide what types of data we will get, and on the basis of that we are just getting the information. Now next is the class generic type. Okay, so class generic type is again the same way. Just when we are writing the class, we accept what types of data we get. Means we have to define D, and then what types of data it will get and all things. And when we are creating the object, then you have to define what types of data you will get from here. So these types of benefit you get from the generic type. And quickly I will explain you. Okay, apart from these guys, I make video on the web development, and I also create a TypeScript playlist, so you can watch all the videos. And I also create JavaScript there. If you are interested, you can see. And apart from this, I just means I just search on the Google and I find these two example of the TypeScript with web, like the web driver IOV, which you are using in your project. So I just show you quickly how these are the boilerplate, means so in the code center. So you can also use, like this is the GitHub project, and if you would like to open in the code center, just use the GitHub box, and it will open in the same code open in the code center. Okay. So if you see here, they have created one model here, model. So model has uh, interface. They have created one interface which has analysis and control, and the same this test where they are used in the page. So when they are writing the class, so they define, okay, what types of text should be. So by default it's null, but they define the type here is test, and they are just providing the value here, lysis and title. And suppose if I provide one more value here, test, one, two, then it started giving me the error because lysis and title is there because there is no property test is there, and test is number. So what I have to do is I just go in here and I have to provide testing is number. Then it will, then now I'm not getting any error. So means you define what types of data it should, means this test should have, so that whenever somebody make changes or somebody provide wrong value here, like if I provide the string here, again I will get the error. But when you are writing code in the JavaScript, maybe you will not get error in the compile time. You will get error in the runtime. Okay, so these types of bugs or error will resolve while writing the code. This is the one example of benefits of TypeScript. Okay, and just they have written the class and public, private. But if you're writing in the JavaScript, mostly you are not able to do this. And they have just used example here. They just write the unit test and all. And I also checked one more thing there, packet.json. Okay, so for every like mocha node, everybody every like library have provided the types also. Chai mocha, okay, whatever like Selenium standard services also provide the types. Okay, like chai prettier things. Most of the library are also provide the support of TypeScript. And second one, I think, yeah, the property. Okay, if you see here, there means the couple of property they have included. I explain you like target module, okay, and types, and includes, like they what types of things you need to include, exclude. Okay, mostly property, but you have to take care about target module. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Yeah, any question?
Yeah, I have a question. Like you mentioned that during compilation, there is a step where the TypeScript code is transformed into JS code.
Yes.
So, so if we take a large-scale project, so will they? How much of a performance overhead will there be because of this?
Yeah, this is like when you are building the code, then you will means it will build on the when you are building the code. It will not affect any performance.
Okay,
It will
got
not
it.
build on the runtime. Means like for our web application, we are building the code and then put on the server, like put on some third-party tool, and from their web application, only web only understand the JavaScript.
Okay, okay,
So we firstly build the code and then put on the server. It's not on the runtime. And for the front end, we are using the webpack and all. Babel.
okay, got it. Thanks.
Any more questions?
All right. Thank you, Anuj, and thank you, everyone. Have a happy weekend, and
Thank
we'll
you all.
see you in next Ministry of Testing meetup. Bye bye.
Thanks all.